All right, in this episode, we talk about the Motus sleeve.
And we break down Omar's pitching mechanics.
All right, Brent Porcio, Stephen Godani here at the @TopVelocity hashtag pitch tip show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, @TopVelocity hashtag pitch tips. Ask your question, man, on the show. To throw two cool things at you. PocketRadar.com gives us 10% off. Top Velo. We use this on the 2X, 3X programs for all our med throws, target throws, velocity. It's a cool little device, convenient, and gives us great readings. King of the Hill plate. It's an addition to the program. Helps us understand how the back leg and front leg force production is working. If we're in those linear angles, have we generated enough force, the timing of generating force. It has its own program I developed for it. You can get it on my site, the Velocity Development Kit, or it's a great addition to all the 3X, 2X program. Cool, so let's get started today. What's our question for the day? Bill Lopez asks, Brent, any opinion on the Motus sleeve? Bill, I like the Motus sleeve. They're a big company. Well, they're very, I don't know if they're that big, but they're very well connected. They just got permission with their new product, which I like. I don't even know if it's supposed to go out, but I don't care. I mean, unless they want to. I care. I mean, I've actually shown interest to try to work with them. I haven't got a lot of feedback, interest back. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. They told me that they got permission with their Motus Pro, and I'm gonna tell you about the Motus Pro, to where they can actually ask players to wear this in game, which is huge. Now, what is the Motus Pro? Motus Pro is actually full body sensors. Only thing it doesn't have is force plates. But in the full body sensors, so we're getting all this data from everything. They just don't know what to do with the data. I know what to do with the data because I did this with Major League teams the past 2 years. That's why I'm trying to get them to give me a beta, let me beta test and get some data out of it. Maybe they will. Maybe this will convince them, okay? But supposedly they're trying to get this to consumer once they have a better way of giving you the information. But it's, I would like that better than the sleeve. The sleeve is just the elbow. I actually have my own little microchips to do different things that I can build into an app, and that is kind of my goal. I've got an app coming up right now for you guys. It's just taking a lot of time. But I like the data coming from the Motus sleeve, but I'm really into their Motus Pro. So I don't know, hopefully they don't get upset at me for doing this, but you won't find a lot of information on it, but they're trying to get it out, and Major League Baseball is already using it. I think they've been using it for a year or so, and it's pretty cool. So you're getting information from every joint. I think this is huge, guys, because this is gonna give us mainstream, more biomechanical data. If Motus starts to obviously use this in professional baseball, and if, I don't know, MLB Network can get their hands on that data, then that goes into, and that's like last couple episodes I talked about, we're gonna have this biomechanics revolution where that's our new sabermetrics, we'll have biometrics. I think this is where this is all going. And so to kind of see that, and you know, we gotta get this data, guys. We gotta get comfortable with it, we gotta start to understand it better and learn it, and then we'll see how it starts to influence things. Now, like I said, I love these devices because we already have a training program that understands it. So we can just get those devices and get you guys to use it. And then once you start understanding how your body moves, we can tell you how to make it move better. So that's our goals and why we want to get our hands on. So we love this stuff. We already know a lot about this stuff. We just want to be more easy to get into your hands so you know a lot about it. And then you'll need us to help you coach and develop it better, because that's what we're already doing. You can come down to 3X Velocity Camp. I put you through, if you haven't seen it, my 3X biometric system, which allows me to just take basic film and motion capture and grab metrics, and then, you know, just watch those videos. You'll see what we learn, and it allows me to give you focuses through your training, and to make those influences and make those changes, and you can see how you map out compared to a high velocity guy, and you can see where you're specifically different. That's so key. You know, it's like, yeah, he throws 10 miles an hour harder than me, but what else is going harder than me? Is his shoulder going harder than me? Is his trunk going harder than me? You know, is it in different positions? You know, so that's important to understand why we're 10 miles an hour different than someone else who's the same size, okay? And that's what we know, and that's what we can give to you. So yeah, I'm so excited about Motus is doing. I think there's a lot of other companies do it. I'm actually talking to other companies that are doing similar things, and this is, I think, guys, in 5 years it's going to be everywhere. Like for biomechanics, we're still, if you notice, like the bat technology and the ball technology, we're still kind of just looking at the objects. We're not looking into the bodies. And I think that's going to happen soon once we can really kind of quantify everything. It's going to take off. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's really exciting, everything that's happening with technology and sports and stuff. Like it's just in its infancy. Like you're seeing on MLB Network all the stuff they're doing with you can see the sprint speeds, and you can see how far a guy's striding and their extension and spin rate and all those cool things. And like Brent's saying, like eventually it's just going to keep evolving from there. Eventually it's going to be the biometrics, where everybody will just know. We'll have databases essentially of guys of their biometrics, and then you can see their force production, and then it's just such a huge advantage for you to be able to compare yourself to someone your size, your build, that's throwing way harder than you, and you get to get a peek at what they're doing different than you. And then that's when the coaching is going to come in to show you, okay, well, now you know what they're doing differently, well, here's how you enhance it. And I think it's just super exciting how it's going to develop.
And I really even pitched this with Major League team was, seeing what NFL has done with the combine is really, really cool. And I think the NFL even has the opportunity to go more into biomechanics. I mean, what they just do in a combine is just measure certain pieces of athleticism. But it's so cool to see, like, I watched this past combine, where it's like they'll take a guy, they'll take his size, they'll take his measurements in, like on his 40 and his bench press or whatever, and then they'll put it into their database, and then it pulls up all these past pro guys who were at those levels that were similar. So it's like, hey, here's a new prospect measuring just like, Chris Carter or I don't know. I'm gonna probably think of older guys.
They did a similar, like Derrick Henry, for example. Like in this one, Derrick Henry, the running back, they comped him to Von Miller, but as a running back. Like all of his stuff was exactly the same as Von Miller.
So I'm like, baseball, it's like, come on, Major League Baseball, this would be so cool. It's like, let's do a combine and let's do biometric measurements and start databasing this and other athleticism measurements, anthropometrics, and then build these databases. And then we start doing that. We're like, look, this guy's measuring just where this guy was. And, it'd be fun to be able to see, is this the next Bryce Harper? Is this the next Steven Strasburg? I think that is the future of all this. And I would love to see Major League Baseball take that initiative now, because it's like we need that database now. It's like the longer Major League Baseball waits on doing a combine, the later we have this information to have fun with and learn from, and all the database of information through the years and how guys match up and pair up. It's pretty cool.
And that would just be so big for everybody to get a look into how athletic you need to be, that these guys are. I feel like there's just this thing in baseball where people just assume that, like, they're just not athletes. Like they're not the top level athlete and then we're looking at studies where they do from rookie ball up to Major League Baseball, and it's clearly that MLB guys are just getting bigger, faster, stronger. The bigger, faster, stronger athlete rises to the top.
Yep, cool. Next question. Omar Rodardi asks, what can improve on? So Omar, I think everything looks good. You might be arm cocking a little early, but still at front foot strike, your trunk is still closed, you're in some horizontal abduction, but you'll notice if you stop it right at front foot strike, your foot is still in the rubber, you're barely driven through, barely, full extension there, your hips are very closed. So it's like you're hitting front foot and everything's closed, the energy just hasn't pushed through, and that's what we're trying to do with hip to shoulder separation, is with front foot strike, we want all the energy pushed through, and then this is holding back, and then that wants to catapult to catch up and accelerate through. So I think everything looks great. I mean, it's not a side view, so I can't see really your front side that well. So I don't know what your front side's doing. But just looking from behind, your hips are late, your back leg drive is late, or it's not that maybe it's late, because a lot of times when I say late, guys want to push it early. No, it's not that you need to start earlier. It's just there's no force at that moment. The moment you initiated drive, there wasn't enough force to drive the hips through into separation. So it's really probably a leg power issue. You need to develop more leg power, and it's typically where we fall with 3X is we look at your lower half. All the studies show low velocity guys fail in hip and trunk energy, and that comes from the lower half. So typically that's what you're going to find. So those you keep watching the show and see our analysis, it's like over and over again. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. It's like a broken record for me, but that's typically where it is. And it's in different places. I know guys sending their videos in has a purpose, because we find that lack of power in specific places and used in different ways, but it's really all the same thing. It's not enough energy driving your hips through. Anything you want?
Omar, why are you pitching with a first baseman's glove? You see that? Right at the start.
Hey, I've pitched with catcher's mitts before.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna regurgitate what Brent said. So there's not. Really,
I mean, I think it looks great. I think when you get the energy in your system, it just keeps throwing harder.
that's just everybody. It's like once you get the power.
Well, I mean, not really, because I don't see a lot of mobility issues there. I don't see a lot of biomechanic issues. I think you're doing things right. It's, you're tell the truth, you're the guys who come into camp where I look at you and I'm like, in a month, man, if you haven't had a lot of explosive weight training, like Olympic training, and you've got a good biomechanical set of movements and you've got decent mobility, man, you're a guy who's going to see increases very quickly, because we're just adding more energy to already a pretty good system. So it's kind of like you've been jogging like Usain Bolt, and we're just going to give you more power to sprint like him. It's like you're looking just like him when you jog. We just need to give you more energy to sprint like him.
Build a bigger engine.
Right, put a bigger engine. Yeah, it's like you're driving the car perfectly well. It's got good suspension, good aerodynamics. You just don't have a big enough engine in it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where you are. And not many guys are really there. A lot of guys come in and you see a mobility issue, you see a motor control issue, like you're just not timing things well. I don't really see that as much with you. A little bit on the arm, cocking me a little early, but I think that even clears up when you get more power to the lower half. Cool. If you have a question, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, @TopVelocity, #pitch tips, baseball tips, ask your question, answer on the show. 2x, 3x camps coming up. Make sure you book those guys. It's going to be a big summer, and we'll see you on the next episode.